Gracias por escuchar REED-BBS.
REED-BBS, BBS. Canelo versus William Scull. Or is it Scull? Canelo versus Terence Bud Crawford. Canelo, he recently signed a 4-fight Riyadh season deal with His Excellency Turki Alal-Sheikh beginning May 3rd versus William Scull in Saudi Arabia. Canelo abroad. His first fight outside of North America. I personally have never left North America myself. Not that any of y'all give a fuck, but figured I would mention that. There was a press conference at Radio City Music Hall a couple weeks ago. There was an all-girl mariachi band. There was a loud, lively New York press conference crowd. At one point, Canelo said, "Hey, Scull, you bring your bitch, huh?" He called him Scull. I don't know if that's a Spanish pronunciation or what, or if it's Skull, who knows. Does it really matter? No. Canelo, he was talking aggressively to Scull. I'll call him Skull. He was talking aggressively to my man one other time in Espanol. Canelo versus Scull is a necessary evil. It's necessary because His Excellency really wants Canelo versus Bud Crawford, which only makes sense for Bud if the undisputed super middleweight title is at stake. And as I speak, Canelo has all but Skull's IBF title in his possession. So long story short, beat Scull, become the two-time undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. Then you fight Bud Crawford in September. Got it? Good. In the meantime, William Scull, 300 amateur fights. Oh, he's Cuban. He's Cuban. He fights at a measured, methodical pace, which I think will be to Canelo's liking. Canelo don't want up-tempo, high-volume guys, which partly explains why he won't face David Benavidez. But I digress. Scull is athletic, reasonably athletic, but Nathan, and when I say Nathan, I mean nothing, Nathan Canelo hasn't seen or beaten before. Again, he's athletic, but nothing special athletically. He's taller and longer than Canelo, but who isn't, right? Who isn't taller or longer than Canelo? When Scull is comfortable and feeling himself, he holds his hands by his sides. He also throws in combination. Not a very high punch output overall, though, from what I've seen. He's reasonably accurate versus the level of comp he's faced, which is a very, very low level of comp. And there's zero single shot power here. And we know Canelo has a great chin, so there's like no threat of a KO here from Scull. He's Cuban, though. He's Cuban. What I want to know is how Cuban is he? And what I mean by that is, like anything else, there's levels. There's levels to Cuban. Or how Brooklyn a fighter may be. Are you MikeTyson Brooklyn? Or are you Shannon Briggs Brooklyn? You know what I'm saying? How Ukrainian are you? Are you Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk Ukrainian? Or are you Dennis Baranchik and Alexander Volzdik Ukrainian? Like anything else, there's levels. So again, I ask, how Cuban is William Scull? I can already tell he ain't Guillermo Rigondeaux or Irislandi Lara Cuban. He ain't that Cuban. Put it that way. He ain't Yuriorkis Gamboa Cuban either, athletically speaking. Yuriorkis Gamboa was a special athlete. His boxing brain left a lot to be desired, but athletically, motherfucker was as good as he got. Scull, he ain't David Morrell Cuban in terms of aggression. I don't even think William Scull is Jordanis Ugas Cuban. I don't. Last few Canelo fights, he drops guys, he tames guys, he puts them in his back pocket to the point any pretense of winning is no longer an option. But Canelo ain't stopping guys. And he hasn't since Caleb Plant in 2021, 6 fights ago. Scull is crafty, and yes, he's Cuban enough to not get hurt too bad against an aging Canelo who doesn't seem able or even interested in finishing opponents anymore. So yes, Canelo will be victorious, but the safe pick is him doing so via a 7th consecutive decision win, or 7th consecutive distance fight. Bivol rematch, that's always a talking point, but we're gonna get Bud Canelo in September. That's what's gonna happen here. I found it funny how the Rye guy Ryan Garcia re-enlisted the services of Eddie Reynoso. Of course, Teofimo effing Lopez recently joined the camp, and now Jaime Munguia is with Eddie Reynoso. But all that went to the side. He's in Canelo's camp. Reynoso is in Canelo's camp getting him ready for William Scull. So Ryan had to find something else to do, as did Teofimo, for their Times Square card, which is just a couple days, or the day before this Canelo show, May the 4th. Speaking of which, Munguia versus Bruno Saras on the undercard, an immediate rematch of the upset of the year. Munguia getting stretched. I like that it's immediately. Martin Bekele versus F.A. Ajagba. One of them is probably out in terms of boxing and big fights. Somebody gonna have to go. Loser leave town type shit. And Badu Jack is on the card too. So it's not the top to bottom just the most impressive show, but given that we got the Times Square card Friday, then Canelo Saturday, then my dude, my bruh, my Tomodachi, Naoya Inoue Sunday, what a hell of an overall Cinco de Mayo weekend we got for boxing. And I'm here for all of it. REED-BBS, BBS. Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Television! Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.